Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom review. See by the title below, yes, this is on episode 4 of SukaSuka, and yes, I know, I am sorry that this is like a day late. If you didn't see my Facebook or Twitter, I've been really just like, it's finals right now for me. I have like exams and everything. I've been studying and finishing up on these projects, and I just have not had the time to go and watch the episode till finally now. It's been like more than a day already. So you can only imagine that I've wanted to see this episode, especially considering how I thought that last week's episode, we might have a death in this one. I was really on edge, and like not being able to watch the episode even though I knew it was out already, it literally sucked. It honestly really did, and it didn't help that I had to wait even longer. And finally, when I did watch this episode, and you just have literally, I was dreading it. I did not know if who was gonna die. I figured someone would die. Would it be Kotori, or would it be, Ithea or Ren? And the whole episode, I was just on the edge of my seat. I was pretty much just like, I felt just like how Willem was feeling, and I think they did a really good job at showing on how, we always see Willem, he's always trying to act tough, act strong in front of everyone. Ithea and Ren literally, completely explain it like perfectly of how his character is, how he is. He always tries to act tough, but honestly, he is broken, not just, physically, because we've seen his, how his body is, but also mentally because of everything that he's gone through, how many people he has lost, how many, just tragic events has happened to him. So you can only imagine how he is feeling. And this is like I think they were saying like half a month they didn't know, he couldn't communicate to them because of like the magic field stops them from being able to, communicate. So he literally has no idea how they are, and this makes it even worse considering, before they went in and they pretty much would, sacrifice himself. That's how they would do it. He teaches them how to use their swords properly and everything, but because of that, we talked about this in the last review, it makes it so they're actually more, Kotori, especially, at least for what we've seen, is scared. She's never done this before. Before, she would be, she was willing to sacrifice herself. She wasn't afraid to do that. Now she's afraid. She wants to live. So that's a huge thing that can literally change the way she, acts and reacts on the battlefield, especially considering she's trying this new style that Willem taught him, and she's going straight into combat, barely had any training with it. So you don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I was like pretty damn scared to see if they were going to die. I was honestly for sure in my mind one of them was going to die at least. If it wasn't going to be Kotori, it would be Ren or Ithea. Luckily, it ends up being none of them. Probably my favorite scene, honestly, the soundtrack was going great during the rain scene and the scene when he finally hugged her. It was such a touching moment, honestly. Like when the pig dude was pretty much telling Willem that, the defense failed, my heart honestly dropped. I was like, no ways. Did they all die? And literally that whole time when Willem was just on the ground in the rain, the soundtrack going off, it created this atmosphere that just makes you dread, like, oh my gosh, literally, I didn't expect all of them to die. Luckily, of course, all of a sudden we see that some of them are coming. At first, I'm like, okay, looks like there's a chance that some of them may have lived. Who is the one that died? Then they show all of them, and I'm literally just like, a weight is lifted off my shoulder. And when Willem, it was so amazing, like when you see him just like zoom, dash through everyone. It's so fast that everyone like just pushed everyone aside. Papers flying everywhere. Everyone was like, what the hell? And he just grabs Kotori and starts hugging her. It was honestly such a touching moment. Literally my favorite part of the series so far. They honestly did this episode, like they did a really good job with this episode on kind of showing like so much suspense on not knowing what's going to happen, showing Willem and how broken he really is from, him having these dreams of everyone being dead, and Naikado, of course, is probably the perfect person to make it seem like kind of scary, honestly. Like, they're all dead. Just with, like, dead eyes. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, no, that's not what happened, right? And, of course, that ends up not happening, but you see that he's having these kind of nightmares. He's not being able to sleep. He's not, even when he's with Tiat, it just makes it worse because of him seeing how these girls are, We learn a little bit more about how pretty much at a certain age for fairies and everything, they go through this tuning thing. Not everyone, not all the fairies can use these dug weapons. They all have the power there, but the power doesn't, happen for everyone. So that's why when these kind of things happen, when they have this certain dream, to which Tiat had, they end up going there, checking it out a little bit. They go through tuning. I'm not too sure if she ends up, like, she says she's gonna be older, so I'm not too sure. Like, I don't think it's like a transforms her into like a teenager or something, but maybe her mentally is what they're talking about, and she ends up not being like, you don't send kids off to a battlefield. That's just, they're not going to be able to comprehend, they're not going to be able to do it. It's just wrong, period, obviously. But if her mind at least is not a kid, then it would make sense that she, the fairies would be able to go and fight. And of course, like we saw before, with how Kotori them they were willing to sacrifice. They had no, when we saw the kids, that one kid, I forget who it was, but she fell down and was bleeding and everything, and had no sense of like, oh my gosh, that's pain. You could die right now, bleeding out. And the other kids are just like, oh, come on, hurry up, get the ball, it's right over there. Like, it was nothing, So you see all of this kind of stuff. He went through all, it was a pretty nice moment, honestly, with him and Tiat going around the city, with her being quite the movie fanatic, and she loves lizards, I guess, loves lizard movies. But that part, it was kind of a bittersweet, because you see all this, you're seeing she's all happy and everything, but you see that underlying thing where she's forcing herself to act happy and all this kind of stuff when she is scared and she is nervous. And obviously when they go to the tuning thing, it's like, literally Willem said it correctly. It sucks. There's nothing you can do about it. She says she wants to grow up, and like he said, she doesn't even realize what she's saying is that she's going to be a soldier going onto the battlefield, and he's been through war already. He's lost so many people, so he knows how bad it is, while she obviously doesn't. But oh man, I'm wondering, like, yeah, after the tuning and everything, will she be going with them fighting as well? I'm still kind of confused on what this tuning is exactly. They'll probably explain it more in the next episode, since he's going to pick her up, and maybe we'll see some type of different growth in her. Maybe her mind will be the only thing that's changed, or maybe both her mind and her body will change. I'm not too sure, but definitely excited to see what's going to happen in the next episode, because honestly, this episode literally had me scared throughout the whole episode. The scene coming, like, all the way going up to it, I was just literally nervous on, like, who's gonna break my heart? Who's gonna die? Will it be Kotori? Will it be Ren? Will it be Althea? Sure, Althea and Ren, we haven't really been involved with them as much as we have with Kotori. So if Kotori died, it would be much bigger of an effect. To which, as much as I don't want her to die, it would be really, like, it would be something, honestly, that would be really, like, I'd be like, holy shit, this story, like, it would push the story a lot more, especially for Willem. Luckily, and maybe not luckily, she ends up living. Willem, we see how much it would have affected him. He literally looked like he was done, literally done. But luckily, both of them live. And of course, the touching, nice moment ends with, for some reason, I don't know, I didn't feel this part. I felt like this was not needed. But it ends with, of course, Kotori going and just slapping him on the face. And that was the end of the episode. So I'm guessing the next episode will be, talking more about what happened. Obviously, it did fail. Maybe more training kind of stuff. Along with, of course, the thing with Tiat, and talking more about how the younger girls maybe will turn into, after they're done tuning kind of thing. So these next few episodes won't be as, crazy and suspenseful as this one. I'm guessing it may be, who the heck knows with this so far. That's what I love about this series. It always, like, catches me off guard with doing something that I do not expect, and that's one of the reasons I love it, besides of course the soundtrack, besides of course the story so far. And honestly, sure, some places here and there the animation isn't that amazing, but there are some moments where the art and animation is actually pretty damn good. The rain scene was actually, like, I really love that scene a lot, from the way it looked, from the music, and just from literally the way they writ the story for that part. Was honestly, it was perfect in my opinion, and it definitely made the moment a lot more touching when it did happen, when he did find out they are alive. You go from this dreading moment of, oh my gosh, they're all dead, to this moment where, oh my gosh, thank God, and the story just, it's like literally a yo-yo going back and forth, and who the hell knows, the next episode, I'm like all happy and everything, thinking everyone's okay, and the next moment someone dies. You never know, honestly, and that's one of the reasons why I love this anime as well. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And as always, guys, I want to know, anime watchers only, how did you guys feel about this episode? Did you feel the same way like I did? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Put down your reasons. And as always, light novel readers, how did you feel about this episode? How was it adapted? Of course, as usual, no spoilers. But yeah, I always love to hear what the source material readers, have to say about, how the anime is being adapted. When it's being adapted well, it's always awesome to hear that both, anime watchers only and light novel, source material readers are enjoying it both, because it just means that they're doing a great job with the anime. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So till next week, see ya.